You know what hurts more than being stabbed in the back? Watching the knife coming, seeing that fake smile, hearing those empty promises, and still choosing to believe they're your friend. Now let me tell you something that might shock you. Those people you call your closest friends, half of them are just waiting for you to fail. They're not clapping when you win. They're counting how many times you lose. Today we're going to change that game. We're going to expose every single sign of those pretenders in your life. Those wolves in sheep's clothing who've been holding you back while calling themselves your friends. Let me break down something about friendship that nobody wants to talk about. In this social media age where everybody's got 1,000 friends, real friendship has become as rare as a 4-leaf clover in a concrete jungle. These fake friends are like sugar, sweet to your face but slowly poisoning your success. They're masters of disguise, walking around with those supportive smiles while their hearts are full of jealousy. They've perfected the art of looking like they're in your corner while actually standing in your way. Your real circle should be tighter than your belt after Thanksgiving dinner, you hear me? But instead, you're out here collecting fake friends like they're Pokemon cards. Today, we're gonna do some spring cleaning in your social circle. I'm talking about identifying those sneaky behaviors, those subtle signs that scream fake friend louder than a car alarm at 3 a.m. By the time we're done here, you'll never have to second guess who's really in your corner again. Because once you see these signs, you can't unsee them. And trust me, what I'm about to share will open your eyes wider than a triple shot of espresso. First sign, the celebration dodgers. Have you ever noticed how some friends become mysteriously busy every time you've got something to celebrate? They're like magicians, poof, disappearing into thin air the moment you achieve something worth bragging about. These celebration dodgers are masters of finding excuses not to show up when you're shining. They'll tell you their dog got sick, their cousin's getting married, or their goldfish needs therapy. Anything to avoid witnessing your moment of glory. The truth is, your success makes them uncomfortable because it holds up a mirror to their own lack of progress. When they do show up, and trust me, sometimes they will just to keep up appearances, watch their body language closely. They're the ones giving those half-hearted congratulations, those weak smiles that don't reach their eyes. You know the type. They're patting you on the back while their face looks like they just bit into a lemon. These folks are suffering from what I call success allergies. They break out in excuses and fake emergencies whenever you're about to hit a milestone. They'll send you a text message saying congrats 3 days late, like they just discovered electricity and finally got the news. Meanwhile, they're all over social media, liking everyone else's achievements and throwing party emojis around like confetti. But here's the real kicker. Catch these same people when you're going through a rough patch, and suddenly they've got all the time in the world. They'll show up faster than a teenager answering a text message, ready to support you through your struggles. Why? Because your hardships make them feel better about themselves. They feed off your setbacks like emotional vampires, disguising their satisfaction as sympathy. These are the friends who say, "I'm here for you," during your failures, but become ghost hunters' biggest challenge during your victories. They've got PhDs in Schadenfreude, finding joy in your misfortune while masquerading as concerned friends. Second sign, the information merchants. You ever shared something personal with a friend, only to have it spread through your social circle faster than a wildfire in California? Meet the information merchants, those friends who treat your private life like breaking news on Twitter. They collect your secrets and struggles like they're rare trading cards, waiting for the perfect moment to cash them in for social currency. These people are like human radio stations, broadcasting your business on all frequencies while pretending they're just concerned about you. They'll lean in close, eyes wide with fake concern, saying, "I'm only telling people because I care about you." Meanwhile, they're updating their gossip spreadsheet faster than Wall Street updates stock prices. Pay attention to how these friends always seem to know everything about everyone. That's not a coincidence. They're information brokers, trading stories about one friend to get dirt on another. They've got more sources than Wikipedia and less reliability than a weather forecast. When you tell them something in confidence, they do this little thing where they nod sympathetically while their eyes light up like they just won the lottery. That's because in their minds they did. They just got their hands on premium gossip material. They're the ones who start conversations with, "Don't tell anyone I told you this," but more often than they say hello. And somehow, mysteriously, the things you've told them in private always find their way back to you through other people. Slightly twisted and heavily dramatized. These friends are particularly dangerous because they don't just share information, they weaponize it. They'll wait for the perfect moment to use your vulnerabilities against you, like a sniper waiting for the perfect shot. They remember everything you've ever told them, not because they care, but because they're building an arsenal for future use. They're the ones who'll remind you of your past mistakes during arguments, bring up your insecurities in group settings, and somehow always manage to accidentally mention your failures to new people in your life. They're playing chess while you think you're playing checkers, always thinking 3 moves ahead about how they can use your trust against you. Third sign, the success saboteurs. Let me tell you about a special breed of fake friends, the success saboteurs. These folks are like those weight loss buddies who keep bringing donuts to your diet meetings. They're the ones who show up right before your big presentation with dramatic news that can't wait, or call you at midnight before your important job interview to check in. They've mastered the art of throwing wrenches in your plans while making it look like they're just being supportive. They're smoother than butter on a bald monkey, disguising their sabotage as concern, their interference as involvement, and their jealousy as care. Watch how they operate when you share your dreams and goals. They're the first ones to point out every possible obstacle, not to help you prepare, but to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Are you sure you're ready for that promotion? They'll ask, voice dripping with fake concern. I just don't want you to get disappointed, they'll say while actively working to ensure that disappointment happens. These friends are like those movie villains who smile while twisting the knife. They'll encourage you to take it easy when you need to work hard, or push you to live a little when you're trying to save money. They're professional dream deflators, armed with an arsenal of subtle discouragements disguised as friendly advice. The most dangerous part about these saboteurs is their timing. They know exactly when to strike, waiting for those crucial moments when your confidence is building, when you're about to take that leap of faith. That's when they'll show up with their reality checks and friendly warnings. They're like those people who yell, "Don't mess up," right before you take a golf swing. And if you do succeed despite their efforts, watch how quickly they try to minimize your achievements. "Oh, you just got lucky," or, "Well, anyone could have done that if they had your advantages." They're the architects of doubt, the engineers of hesitation, building roadblocks on your path to success while pretending to help you navigate them. Fourth sign, the conditional supporters. These are the friends who are there for you, but only under certain conditions. Their support comes with more terms and conditions than a software update agreement. When things are easy, when you're following their advice, when you're living life according to their rulebook, they're your biggest cheerleaders. But the moment you step off their prescribed path, watch how quickly that support evaporates like morning dew in the desert sun. They're like those weather-only friends, only showing up when the forecast is favorable. Their friendship is as reliable as a chocolate teapot, looks good until the heat is on. Pay attention to how these conditional supporters react when you make decisions they don't agree with. They don't just withdraw their support. They actively work to make you doubt yourself. They'll hit you with passive-aggressive comments wrapped in concern like, "I'm just worried about you," or "I thought you were smarter than that." These friends have a PhD in manipulation, making you feel like you need their approval to validate your choices. They've got this way of making their support feel like a privilege you need to earn, rather than the basic component of friendship it should be. And the hoops they expect you to jump through, they keep getting higher and higher, like a circus act that never ends. The real problem with these conditional supporters is how they make you shrink yourself to fit their expectations. They're like those fashion critics who insist everything needs to be their style to be acceptable. Your dreams have to fit their vision. Your success has to follow their formula. Your happiness has to match their definition. And heaven forbid you succeed in a way they didn't predict or approve of. Suddenly, they're experts in why your approach is wrong, even when the results prove otherwise. They're the ones who'll support your business venture, but only if you do it their way. They'll back your relationship, but only if your partner meets their criteria. Their friendship comes with more restrictions than an exclusive country club, and the membership fees are paid in pieces of your authenticity. Fifth sign, the spotlight stealers. Let me break down something that'll hit home harder than your mama's cooking. Those friends who can't let you have your moment. You know the type. You start sharing good news, and before you can even finish your sentence, they've already hijacked the conversation like a professional carjacker. You're trying to tell them about your promotion, and suddenly they're giving a TED talk about their cousin's neighbor's dog walker who once got a better job. These spotlight stealers are like those people who bring their own birthday cake to someone else's party. They just can't stand being in the audience when someone else is on stage. Watch how these friends operate in group settings. It's like they've got a PhD in conversation redirection. You could be talking about climbing Mount Everest, and they'll find a way to make their trip up the stairs sound more impressive. They've got this magical ability to turn every single one of your stories into a chapter of their autobiography. They're like those social media influencers who photobomb other people's perfect pictures. They just can't help themselves. And the worst part? They do it with such practiced smoothness that if you call them out, you're the one who ends up looking petty. They've mastered the art of stealing the spotlight while making it look like they're just adding to the conversation. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pay attention to their reactions when they can't turn the conversation back to themselves. They start fidgeting like a kid in church, checking their phones like they're expecting a call from the president, or suddenly remembering urgent appointments. Their attention span for your success stories is shorter than a TikTok video, but bring up something they can one-up you on, and suddenly they've got the focus of a forensic investigator. These friends aren't just stealing your spotlight, they're dimming your whole shine, making you feel like your achievements need to compete in some sort of success Olympics where they're always going for gold. Sixth sign, the crisis creators. These are the friends who bring more drama to your life than a Shakespeare festival. They're like those weather forecasters who predict storms on clear days, always seeing disaster around every corner, especially when things are going well for you. They've got this uncanny ability to create emergencies that demand your immediate attention, particularly when you're focused on your own goals or celebrating your own victories. It's like they've got a sixth sense for detecting your moments of peace and prosperity, and they just can't let that stand. They're the masters of the well-timed crisis, the champions of chaos, the professional problem producers. Notice how their emergencies always seem to pop up at the most suspicious times, right before your big interview, during your anniversary dinner, or just as you're about to take that vacation you've been planning for months. These crisis creators are like those people who pull the fire alarm during your presentation. They need to disrupt your focus to feel relevant. They'll call you at 3 a.m. with a life or death situation that somehow turns out to be about their ex liking someone else's Instagram post. Their problems are always urgent enough to demand your immediate attention, but never quite serious enough to require professional help. They're emotional vampires with a twist. Instead of just feeding off your energy, they actively create situations to justify their need for it. The real kicker with these crisis creators is how they make you feel guilty for not dropping everything to handle their latest emergency. They're like those guilt trip travel agents, always ready to book you a one-way ticket to responsibility town. And if you dare to maintain your boundaries, watch how quickly they turn that crisis into a referendum on your friendship. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with their original problem, you're also defending yourself against accusations of being unsupportive, uncaring, or unavailable. They've mastered the art of making their problems your problems, turning their dramas into your obligations, and their crises into your responsibilities. Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is more important than your morning coffee. You've just learned the 6 telltale signs of those pretenders in your life, those emotional pickpockets who've been stealing your joy while calling themselves your friends. But knowing isn't enough. It's time for action. It's time to clean house in your social circle, like you're hosting the world's most important dinner party. Think about it. You wouldn't keep expired food in your fridge, so why are you keeping expired friendships in your life? These fake friends are like those free trial subscriptions. They might look good at first, but they end up costing you more than you bargained for. Your peace of mind, your success, your happiness. That's the premium content of your life, and not everyone deserves access to it. Now I know some of you are sitting there, nodding your heads seeing these signs in people you call friends right now. You're probably feeling that knot in your stomach, that uncomfortable truth settling in. But here's the beautiful thing about awareness. It's the first step to transformation. You've got the blueprint now, the friend filter you never knew you needed. Use it. Your future self will thank you more than your taste buds. Thank your grandma's secret recipe. And speaking of transformations, if this message hit home harder than a basketball through a paper window, you need to be part of this community. Hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. We're not just talking about success here. We're building it, one truth bomb at a time. Every week, we're exposing these life secrets that nobody else wants to talk about. We're having those real conversations that make fake friends uncomfortable and real winners unstoppable.